It's the Health in the Real World podcast. It's time to start the show with Chris Janke as your host. Here to give you everything that you need when it comes to fitness strategies. We keep it simple and easy. It's your roadmap to get healthy. You don't need equipment and you don't need a gym. Just the right strategies to get you fit and trim.
Welcome to Health in the Real World. We're here today with Nathan Jones. Nathan, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Let's start out. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do and how you're in the fitness community.
Yeah, so I'm 33. I'm based in London. I'm also an MMA fighter and martial arts coach. So I've been doing that for the last 10 years. And yeah, touch wood, you know what I mean? No broken bones. So luck's on my side, still looking pretty.
Nice. Definitely a rough sport. From what I've seen. I've taken a few jiu-jitsu classes and then you add on all the extra stuff and the punching and the kicking and no broken bones. We're happy about that.
Yeah, for sure. No, it is hard, but I love it, you know? It's just good.
That's good. So if we were, let's say somebody was watching this show and they're just a beginner in health and fitness and they're just kind of exploring and they just want to get their body healthy, what would you tell that person who is just starting out? Like what kind of advice would you give to them as far as what are the most important things to consider?
Well, let's take like the pandemic out of the equation. Do you know what I mean? Because that will affect a lot of what you can and can't do. But the first thing I would say is turn up. Yeah, have an open mind and show up. That's probably the hardest thing to do because our mind, it's a very powerful tool. We can convince ourselves to do a lot of things, talk ourselves in and out of things, and we have preconceptions. Some friends have good experiences, some have bad experiences, people exaggerate it. And, so you can get this whole image that so if I said to you, MMA is about this and, I get in the cage, you could think, oh my gosh, I'm not ready for that. Or I don't want to get hurt, just turn up and take it as it is and see where you go from there. That's how I got involved. I was just saying yes to everything, and ended up going for a free trial at a gym. Had an open mind and kept on saying yes, and then the rest is history. This is what I do. I kind of stumbled in it, and I enjoy it. So.
Yeah, that's great. I think that's a great philosophy. Just start saying yes to things. And I'm sure when you first started, you weren't, you were probably not knowing what to do, how to do things, but then just little by little, you get better and better. And that's...
No, exactly.
Yeah, like you say, people watching the MMA fight, they're watching people who have thousands and thousands of hours under their belts. And much different than watching a beginner, either first time lifting weights or first time doing MMA or first time doing whatever it is. You just have to take it one step at a time, right?
That's it. It's a marathon and not a sprint, So take your time, take it for what it is, enjoy it as it happens, and doesn't matter. My belief is martial arts is something for everyone. So it doesn't matter what goal you have or what you want to achieve, where you at, what stage you're at in your life. The martial art has something for you, whether it's to gain confidence, try a new hobby, burn calories. There's something in it for you, So I'm an advocate for it. It's changed my life, and I'm going to keep going as the whim will take me.
Do you see with your own, like you have your own clients, right? You teach people how to fight. Do you see that with your own clients? Like you literally have a whole variety of types of people, like older people, younger people, male, female. What does your clientele look like?
Yeah, you pretty much said it. Yeah, so I teach from 4 years old, and I think my eldest client is 60 years old. So right across the spectrum, even with ability as well. So some people are able, fit, and healthy. Others are less mobile, but there's something for everyone. People have different aspirations. Some just want to have fun, learn a new skill. Others are taking it a bit more seriously, competing and stuff. So yeah, I teach across the board, and the skill set required and the approaches that I'll take vary with that. I could be nice, and I can be, cracking that whip and stuff. So no, it's good. It's a good crack, and doesn't matter who you are, what stage you're at. It's about the progression, and it's about taking something from it. And if I can help you do that, then that's my job done, or I'm doing my job, shall I say? It's not done until, you know what I mean. We keep going. So
yeah. Well, that's a good point too, as far as how you kind of change your approach depending on who you're dealing with. Nice guy, or sometimes if you have to be a taskmaster, depending on how the client responds, right? Like I would say most of my clients specifically respond just to me suggesting, like, okay, now we're going to do this exercise, and they just do it, right? Mm-hmm. And occasionally you'll get the talk back, and I'm just like scratching my head. I'm like, you're paying me and you want me to tell you what to do, but you're gonna, and then you kind of have to raise your game and then say, all right, just go over there and do this exercise, right?
No, for sure. But it keeps you on your toes, though.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think that's great. I think that's a really great message that teaching people fighting and self-defense is really for everybody. Like I said, I took a few classes in jiu-jitsu. We had my son in jiu-jitsu for a couple years. Probably going to sign him back up again after this whole pandemic is over. And it's amazing how a lot of things started to change in him. One, he was very hyper when he was real little, and he started to kind of mellow down, because I think a lot of his aggression he was able to kind of harness into one activity. And then another thing I noticed is he just got strong. I would touch. He was 6 years old at the time, and I would touch his shoulder, and it was just like dense. He had that density of like a weightlifter, and I was really impressed. I started watching him, grapple with people, and it's really you're squeezing and you're trying to move somebody with all your energy, and it definitely created some muscle in him. It was awesome.
No, for sure. And that's why I still do martial arts. That's why my children will do martial arts, and that's why I love teaching young people. The reason why I like teaching young people, because it teaches them from a young age to have that resilience, that it's okay to lose. And if you do lose, okay, well, reflect, learn from it. What happened? Make those adjustments. And that's very transferable to everyday life, not so much accepting the losing, but knowing it's okay. Do you know what I mean? And if you want to change the outcome, well, then you need to change the preparation, and you're responsible for that. So let's do it. Teaching them from young is never a bad thing.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think you hit on a really important point too. I'm a big fan in kids need to learn that there is such thing as losing, right? I grew up playing soccer, baseball, basketball, and at the end of the game, one team won and the other team lost. And I think that it's a really important lesson, I think, for kids, because like you said, there's certain preparation factors that go into it. And if you lose a game, or even if you win a game, but you didn't really play as well as you could have, well, let's backtrack and see what could I have done better. What kinds of preparation could I have done in order to get the outcome? One thing that I don't know how you feel about this, or even if it's happening in London, but I've seen this with youth sports. They stopped keeping score, and it's funny because every kid on the field knows what the score is. They're like,
yeah.
No, we're not keeping score, and all the kids are like, oh man, we lost today 7-4. And hold on, if we're not supposed to keep score because nobody wants to lose, why do the kids all know who won, and why are we making this a big deal? Why don't we just let
Yeah, no, I haven't experienced that back here, but I don't know, man. Sometimes it's nice to keep score because you got a goal to work towards. You know what I mean?
And it's real, right? It's real. Sometimes you lose, and it's not, it's not a bad thing to be a loser in a game. You just have to do better next time, right?
That's it. Yeah.
Well, how did you? What got you started? What made you really want to get into MMA in the first place? And then from there, what got you started with wanting to train other people in doing MMA?
Yeah, so like I was saying before, I was just saying yes to everything. So I was at a low point in my life, bad health, bad relationships, and I just needed a change. So I watched the Yes Man film. It's a book as well, but the film stars Jim Carrey, and it's actually really quite funny. But basically, he says yes to everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyway, I started doing that, and I stumbled into martial arts. But it was that whole aspect of doing something for me, and I was you know what I mean. All that stress that I have in my day-to-day life was left at the door. When I was in the gym, it was my time. And I was doing something for me, something positive for my own health. And I developed good friendships, relationships within the gym. And I just found happiness, and why I started to pursue it further and further on, apart from saying yes, was the fact that I enjoyed it, but I also liked the challenge of it. It's a martial art. It's a self-defense system. It's also a combat sport, and I love the challenge, having to better myself, but also to solve the puzzle, the problem that was in front of me, and keep myself safe at the same time. Because, as you can imagine, with a full contact sport, if you make a mistake, it could go wrong. Do you know what I mean? And I think I'm good at it. And what helped me teach was that, first of all, for those same reasons, I was good at it and I enjoyed it, but it became a means to an end. The more I could train people would allow me to have an income that was flexible around what was a hobby became into a profession, and that was the conduit of making that change happen. It was, right, I got to start coaching, and the two go hand in hand with each other for me. The more I have to break something down and explain it from the grassroots, this and that, and the mechanics of it, the more I'm repeating it to myself. Do you know what I mean? So I may repeat myself 100 times in a day. This goes there, that goes there, do it like this. But I don't get bored with that because, I'm just repeating it to myself. So my fundamentals and my basics for my own practice are constantly getting polished up. Well, this is the theory anyway. I get hit in the head a lot, so
Right.
so it's a kind of counterbalance there. But the theory is that I'm constantly training myself whilst training other people, and I do enjoy it. I get great job satisfaction from helping people achieve their goals for whatever the reasons, the goals that they have, for the reasons why they've got them, and helping clients reset goals. It's not about just having one goal and one you're done. It's a journey. Martial arts for me is a journey. Martial arts for anybody is a journey. Well, I see we're all on a journey, but martial arts is a good tool to engage people, to take them on their journey to wherever they get them. Not just martial arts; it could be fitness, it could be sport. We have lots of conversations. You'll know yourself, talking with your clients. It's a rapport that you have, and and I love it. You meet a wide variety of people. Is the politically correct way of putting it. But I love it. All shapes and sizes, all walks of life, from all different domains in society. I love it. So I'm gonna keep doing it for as long as I can.
That's
Touch wood.
That's great. Yeah, I love what you said about the repetition. The more you explain it to somebody else, the more you're talking to yourself almost, and repeating the basics, the fundamentals. I had a client recently actually ask me this. She said, "Don't you get tired of saying the same thing over and over and over again?" And I said, "No, because it's like you said, it's a way to solidify it in myself, to really remind my body that this is important. This is one of the most important things in my life, because like you said, when you started MMA, it's like you got to put yourself first. It's like, this is my time. This is how I nourish my own body, my own self, with my own fitness. So I think
100%.
yeah, that repetition is powerful, powerful. Um, so Nathan, I want to ask you, you told me that early on you started to kind of say yes to everything, right? What would you say now, as you've progressed over the 10 years? Like, what are some we can call them affirmations or whatever, that you say inside your head, right? Like, we all kind of talk to ourselves and have stories about certain things. What are some things that you tell yourself, some affirmations or motivation that you tell yourself to keep you going and to keep you kind of striving to that next level?
Christian, because I actually do have a list of affirmations. Because, like I was saying, like, the mind's very powerful. You can talk yourself into things and out of things. We have a lot of things that we can control and can't control. And for me, going into a fight, there's lots of hype from the media, from my camp, from their camp, and the mind just plays tricks. So I'd always, for my own performance, I would tell myself, this is my time. This is my fight. I'm going to shine. My fight name's Bag and Tag, Mr. Bag and Tag. So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to bag and tag. And I literally repeat that to myself. I've got a mantra, it's written on my wall. It's the first thing I see in the morning. It's the last thing I see at night. It's my time to shine. I do this every day, bag and tag. And I just keep repeating it, especially like when it comes to a fight. I get my hands wrapped over and again, over and over again. I may even see my opponent and I'm like, I'm a nice guy. I'll shake his hand, I'll smile. But in my head, I'm like, oh, yeah, bag and tag. It's seriously, it is like that. But borderline sociopath, psychopath, the way that I'm repeating it, because I've got to convince myself and take all maybe negative energy, maybe self-doubt, the unknown factor. We are, as human beings, we are scared of the unknown, the risk. What if? And you've just got to convince yourself. Well, I've got to convince myself this is what's going to happen. I know the risks are there, and I'm going to go there. I'm going to do my thing, and that's helped. That within the fight has helped me tackle a lot of things in my own life, pursue my own career. It might be approach a client, a prospective client. Say it might be say yes to an opportunity. Oh, do you want to? Okay, yes. I don't want to do it. I just, yeah, cool. Right now, I'm going to do it. And I feel that it's only served to benefit me because, getting opportunities like this to talk to yourself, I wouldn't have done it if I had said no. do you know what I mean? And I don't know who may be watching this. They may, I may say something that resonates with them, and an opportunity may come from it. So I always say yes, and I convince myself, I'm on the right path, and guns blazing, get to my end goal. So yeah, to answer your question, I do, and I do it a lot.
Nice, that's great. Well, I mean, it definitely works, right? It definitely works. Like you said, you convince yourself of what's going to happen in the future, right? Just through repetition, sheer repetition, and
Yeah,
that's fantastic. Yeah.
and I just want to add to that, because not all the time it works, but that doesn't mean to say it doesn't work. Right. Yeah, and this is a very important point. You have to trust the process. It may just be it's not your time. It may be that they were doing something that was right, or something, I probably wasn't fully focused all the way through. Again, and I reflect on that. It's okay to lose. I'm going to do it again, but I still have that same visualization, that same method, and my time will come. Do you know what I mean? You don't have to win everything. Like we win through failure, success through failure, kind of thing. If that makes sense. And so, guys, anyone out there, trust the process. Is my advice.
I think that's great. Yeah, I think that's great. We definitely learn a lot from those rock bottom moments or defeat. You know, anytime we lose, for sure, for sure. Nathan, I wanna give you a shot to close this out. We're going big picture now, not necessarily health fitness, but big picture. So let's say a university hires you to give the speech at a graduation, and you're going to talk to these young adults, 21, 22-year-olds, give them some life advice, and your motivational talk. What's your motivational talk for them?
Okay, well, I'll probably say a lot of what I've said before, with a little bit of sugar on top. But no, I would just say, take your time, make calculated decisions, and think about your future. Think about your future. Yes, we need to take opportunities, but at the same time, you've got to make sure you've got a foundation. For example, I'm self-employed. I'm a fighter. So if I get injured, I need something to fall back on. Do you know what I mean? So for people that have just finished their university, then yeah, you've got a foundation. Build on that foundation, and then with all the things I was saying before, go for it and trust the process and say yes and take the opportunities from there. But that was a good question. You didn't give me time to think about that, but yeah, hopefully I gave a good answer.
I think it's a good answer. I think, like you said, you could have used anything that you already talked about as that speech. So it's good stuff. Nathan, I want to give everyone a chance to contact you. How do we get a hold of you? What's your website, social media?
Yeah, so my website is inthebagptc.com. And I'm Mr. Bag and Tag, so at Mr. Bag and Tag. Yeah.
All right, sounds good. Nathan Jones, thank you for joining us today on Health in the Real World.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for listening to the Health in the Real World show. Make sure to like and subscribe and comment down below. Visit mycorebalance.com to learn more.